What's up, everybody? Today I'm doing a video on design and layouts. It's something that I'm very passionate about. It's something that I have a background in. It's something I love talking about. It's something that I like creating new ideas and all of that good stuff about. So we're going to get into a lot of detail in this video. We're going to get into a lot of what I do in my process on going through the motions of getting a design and getting a layout on how I like to do it, and then hopefully that'll give you guys some tips and some tricks on what you should do. Here we go. If you guys are new to my channel, consider subscribing. What I do here is I live full-time in my van that I call GHOST, which stands for Ground Home Operation Stealth Transportation. I try to do videos a lot like this, which are very informative, giving tips and tricks on van life, how to live, how to build, DIY, things like that. I also try to help out people find builders. I do consulting on my website, JarrodTocci.com. One of the things I really like to do is I like to share other people's vans or small spaces, so I do tours on my channel as well. I have a bunch of other things coming up in regards to my life and just everything and just all that good stuff. So go check out JarrodTocci.com. I have some merch on there. I've got some t-shirts coming out. I got some stuff like that. I do consulting like I also mentioned, but enough of that. You guys are here for designs, layouts, where to get started. I recently put a video out, I want to say a few weeks back, about what van to get. So I hope to start, not a trend, because it's already been a thing, but I hope to start doing more very informational based videos. So there's going to be a lot of detail. I hope to do a follow-up on certain things. In this video, it's going to be predominantly about research, designs, layouts, and what suits you best. The reason these videos are hard is because there are so many opinions out there. Now, opinions are fine. I'm totally okay with them, but keep in mind, because you have a thought or I have a thought doesn't mean 5 other people have the same thoughts and ideas. They may hate my idea, they may hate my opinion, but if we can kind of come together here and come up with a good solution, that's really what I'm trying to get across. So I'm trying to give the tips and the tricks on how to do those kind of things, and then make your van or whatever you're designing, whether it's I'm getting into container homes, so whether it's a container home, whether you're redoing a garage, whether you're building out a basement, hopefully you can take these and apply them to that. But for the most part, we focus on vans. I feel that this part of the build, and a lot of people even do this before they even pick a van. I prefer to pick a van first, because then you can get the dimensions of the van, whether it's length, width, height, you can find all of that pretty much on the internet. So to design a space without knowing the space is a heck of a lot harder. I'll give you an example. I mentioned that I was considering doing, I'm pretty much doing a container home. I have designs for a container home, but how the heck am I going to design the layout of my containers, because it's going to be more than one, without having the land first? So I need to go out and purchase land before I can start designing the containers. Now I have a general idea of how I want to array the containers, but it's easier for me to have the land so I can start planning that out, and then I can start designing the inside. That goes very much hand in hand what I'm trying to say here. This section is very important, and I think it's going to set up the rest of your van build because of how much effort that you put into this. You can watch a bunch of videos like this, which helps. You can go to Instagram and look at all the different photos and pages and get inspiration from those. And you can also check out Pinterest, which is obviously a great source. I hope to get on there more myself. And then you can also look at blogs. You can look at there's so many different avenues to find inspiration, to get motivation, and to really figure out what you want that's going to be best. Some people are against what I'm about to say. However, I'm a big believer in this. I would like people to go out there and rent a van before building a van. There's 2 sides to this. I say that because I feel that if you rent a van first to figure out what you want and need, that's different than renting a van to seeing if this lifestyle is for you. I think that you know that this lifestyle is for you right off the bat. Either you do or you don't, you know it, this is what I want to do. So the purpose of renting a rig or even having a starter rig. By the way, I'm holding this pen right here because I have a bunch of notes. Anyways, the reason you want to rent that rig is because you want to see what your wants and needs are. For me, I like to create lists. I put out a list of pretty much everything I want and I need. I did a tour recently of somebody, I honestly forget who it was, but they mentioned that they took everything that they wanted, they laid it out in their bedroom or living room or whatever it was, they laid it all out, and they said, okay, I need to fit everything that's in that room into that thing over there, which was a van. And they designed around it. So that kind of also will go into what I'm going to say here in a little bit, which is figure out your wants and needs and then design around those wants and needs. So not only your clothing and like the things that you have, but for me, and I'm going to use me as an example a lot, obviously, but for me, I didn't have to design around a bike. If mountain biking or trail riding is something that is really, that you're passionate about and you love to do and you need to have that bike, then you're probably going to have to design around that. If you're if you're like a chef, right, and you have to have a massive amount of food storage, whether it's refrigerator, freezer, or dry storage, then you may want to design around that. Maybe you are a traveling chef. That is my point on everybody is different, all the opinions are different, and that's totally fine. It's just you need to figure out what your wants and what your needs are. For me, again, I found it was best to make a list. I knew that I needed storage for my camera equipment, lighting equipment, although I don't really need lights anymore with these bad Larrys up on my roof. I knew I needed a certain size footprint for my electrical equipment. I have radiant floor heat in my van. I knew the mechanicals of that took up a massive amount of area. I was going to sacrifice storage. I was going to not have a bike. I was going to not have a kayak or anything outdoor activity wise, because I knew if I was going to do an outdoor activity like skiing, snowboarding, kayaking, anything like that, I was going to have to rent. Knew that I wasn't going to do that enough to justify me having it in my van. Again, that's just me. I have I like to hike. So I have them on right now. I have nice boots on. I have a nice rain jacket. I have a nice backpack for my camera equipment. Those are the things I like. I also have my tools. If you guys have seen the back of my van, I have a whole bunch of Ryobi tools. Ryobi sponsor me. That would be great. Thanks. But I have a bunch of tools. Make the list. It's going to take you time. Go over it several times. It's going to take a little bit of time. Cross things off, add, subtract, do whatever you need to do. I also felt that it's best. I recently did a event, Tiny Fest California, with everything going on right now. All events are canceled, but I'm filming this in April of 2020. Hopefully all that changes soon. However, if you can go to an event, go to an event. Events are great because you get to have real conversations with the people that have built these out, professional builders that are there as well. You can have conversations with them. All of that is great. And again, renting a van to see what you also want and need is also great. Once you have figured out your list, or that you have a general idea. For example, some people, I would say a solid 70-80% of van lifers don't have a shower in their van. Also, guys, if you guys hear some noise, I am right outside my friend's shop. They are doing some building on some vans and whatnot, so that's my life. Anyways, what was I saying? Oh, right, the shower. Some people have showers, most people don't. Now, with everything going on right now, the people that don't have showers, it kind of stinks. I have a shower. I use my shower now, which is funny as all hell. But I do use my shower. I love my shower. I love having it in places where if I'm out at BLM land, I have a shower. I have access to my shower. I'm pointing this way because that's where it is. I have that access. I don't need to have a gym. But a lot of people are like, well, I have gyms. It's okay. Well, what happens when you're in the situation we're in now? So now we're going to get into, I need to breathe because I get so excited over this kind of stuff. So the things that are inside your van that you need to start designing around, we're going to start going over the products and whatnot. And I'm just going to throw out a bunch of lists out there. I will start with the very most important thing because we spend typically 1/3 of our day in it, which is a bed. What kind of bed do you want? Now, if you guys are anything like me, you have searched far and wide all over the interwebs for all these different types of van designs and builds and all that stuff. And if you're even more so like me, you've been in hundreds of different vans and designs and builds. You will also understand that there's probably only 4 layouts and designs, maybe 5. They're all pretty commonly used. They're all pretty much virtually the same. Very minor things are changed. And I'll kind of explain that as we go on here. Going back to the bed. your bed is going to take up 1/3 of your van unless you use a twin size bed. And if you're a single person, that's fine. Now, if you want to possibly resell your van in the future, just know it's probably going to be harder to sell your van as a twin size bed than it would be as a full or a queen. That's just out of experience that I've dealt with. People want the bed, people want to starfish, people want to spread out. Deciding what kind of bed did you want. Do you want a fixed bed? Do you want a futon style bed, like a bed on slats that pulls out from like a couch into a bed? Do you want a Murphy bed like I have? Do you want the dinette style bed, which is, you have seating area and then the table acts as part of the bed situation and then you put cushions onto that? I've seen other beds, the Happy Jack system, which is an elevated bed or like a bed on hydraulics, drop down from the ceiling, which is a pretty common thing. Do you have more than one person? So are you going to need a queen size bed? Or are you going to have children in the van? So are you going to have to, or other people, are you going to have a separate sleeping quarters for that person or those people? Are you expecting a lot of guests? If you have children, I've seen my brother right now, he's doing a bunk bed system. Think he's actually doing a Murphy bunk bed system. So the bottom bunk is like a seating area and the top bunk is a Murphy style folding up against the wall. All of those things are like things that should be going through your head when it comes to the bed system. Once you figure that out, it kind of all just comes together, by the way. You kind of throw out the scenarios like, I want a fixed bed for this reason and that reason and this reason. A lot of people use the fixed bed because it's elevated up high and you have a bunch of storage underneath your bed. That is probably the main reason a lot of people go with a fixed bed. The other main reason everybody goes with a fixed bed, or people love going with fixed beds, is because you don't have to make your bed up. What I mean by that is, if anybody has a dinette style bed, I know that you guys can tell me that a large percentage of the time it's not in dinette mode. The futon style bed, which is typically your bed that's a couch or a seating area, it'll be on slats and rollers and it'll come out and then the backrest will turn into the bed. That is a very, very common use, very useful. That was actually part of one of my designs when I started laying everything out. A lot of you are going to be asking about software. I personally like using SketchUp. I have the SketchUp Pro version. I do designs for people sometimes. We're going to get into that in a little bit. But anyways, I prefer using like a professional program. There's a lot of people out there that have messaged me about VanSpace 3D. Probably have seen ads about it. It is a very inexpensive product. However, I want to dedicate an entire video of the different design, softwares out there. If you are a DIYer doing a one-time build, actually for the price, VanSpace 3D is probably not a bad idea. It is a very drag and drop system. I personally would rather use something like a SketchUp, which is the next level up. It's only a few $100s, but that's just me. We won't get into design software and things like that. What's nice about SketchUp, what's nice about VanSpace 3D, I think VanSpace 3D, I have to purchase it, but what's nice about that kind of stuff is you can do several different iterations of a build. For example, when I was designing this van, I went through, I think, 4 different layouts, and I had them all saved as different, Ghost 1, Ghost 2, Ghost 3, Ghost 4. I had them all separated, and I was like, all right, what do I want? What do I want to do? And I had to make that decision. It was like, what do I want as a layout? So that is another thing. It's like you take your list from your wants and needs, and then you create a bunch of different, drawings, sketches. Another thing is also notepads, guys. This is a tablet that you can draw on, but it's nice to have to just do quick little sketches. What's nice about having like a VanSpace 3D or SketchUp or even AutoCAD, but I wouldn't spend the money on AutoCAD, is they are, for the most part, all 3-dimensional. So you can start to 3D conceptualize what you are going to be living in. It's a little bit easier doing it with 3D software than it is sketching it out. Getting back into the products, we went over the bed and all the different type of bed systems that you have. That, to me, you need to decide what is your, what's important to you when it comes to how you want to sleep, and if you want to spend the few minutes it takes to convert a bed. For me, I wanted separate spaces, right? This is, again, just me for an example. I knew I was going to be doing stuff like this. I knew I was going to be doing videos in my space. I wanted to separate a living space, which I'm in right now, And I also have like an office space up there, which is my cab area because I have a swivel seat, right? And I also have a kitchen area, which is right here. You can actually see my faucet. And I have a little cooking area, and I even have what my camera's sitting on right now. I have 6 feet of countertop space. I wanted to separate all my spaces, and I only had 66 square feet to work with. So I wanted all of those separate than my bedroom, which is right here. My bedroom is bed folds down. I'm in bed mode. When that bed comes down, I don't cook. I don't do any office work. I don't do anything like that. That is my bedroom. That's why I created the Murphy bed, and also off the back wall. That's why I wanted to do something different. But that, again, that's all just me. A lot of people don't like the Murphy bed off the back wall. Hey, that's fine. To each their own, right? These are the things you kind of have to think about when doing your own design in your own van. Is, do you want the countertop space? How do you want to make your bed? What I was going to say right now is other products like a fridge. Fridges are large, or they can be. And you have to make a lot of decisions with a fridge. Do you want a door fridge? Do you want a top loader? Do you want a fridge that looks like a door but it's actually a drawer? Do you want a fridge freezer? Do you want a separate fridge freezer? Do you want a dual zone fridge freezer? So this is the part of research that you need to do. When you get into products that you need to design around, you need to start doing research on dimensions, which is massive, and also the product themselves and what you want. This is why this part of the build takes so long. I actually feel the design and the preparation to all of this takes longer than the actual build. Also, with that being said, as you're going through the building process, I can guarantee you things are going to change. Designs are going to change, products are going to change. You gotta roll with it, and you need to know that here before you get started with any of this. So fridge, me personally, I wanted the isotherm. I have the clean 85 model. I wanted the stainless steel look because I'm fancy like that and I just wanted something nice. I wanted that look. Other great fridges out there, you got Dometic, you got Winter, you got Randy's Trucker fridges. There are so many options when it comes to fridges. I highly, 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 highly recommend getting a 12 volt fridge. Highly recommend getting a 12 volt fridge. You can get a 120 volt fridge, but you have to have your inverter on at all times. With that being said, you have your inverter drawing power as well as the fridge drawing way more power than your typical 12 volt fridge. Yes, 12 volt fridges are freaking expensive. I understand that. Moving right along, water tank. For me, I felt that the best one on the market right now, and I'm not sponsored by I'm not sponsored by anybody right now, guys. So keep in mind that if I say a product, I say this or say that, the only thing I get a kickback from, which is not even really a kickback, is Relion, which is the battery company. That's about it. But other than that, like the company I'm about to mention right now, I don't get a kickback from them. I just like them as a company. I think he's a cool guy. Anyways, Northwest Conversions has created a mold for a over the wheel well water tank. There's another couple companies out there. I think Titan is a good company for pro masters. You want to do your research on water tanks. Why? Because water tanks take up a good amount of room. Another thing to consider with water tanks is a gallon of water weighs 8 pounds. Weight and weight distribution is super, super important, and we're going to get into that right after I finish my water tank spiel. Saving space with an over-the-wheel well water tank is just amazing. It literally fits right over. It fits like a glove on a Sprinter. I'm not sure about the Transits. And then Titan is the one that you want for a ProMaster because the wheel wells are just a little bit higher. I think it's a great design. It's a 22-gallon tank, which is not a lot. I feel that the sweet spot when it comes to how much water you want to put in your van is between 18 to 25 gallons. For gray water, I think less is more. I only have a 7-gallon gray water tank, and I have a button that I can release the water from inside the van, and that'll dump out to the outside if I want to do it that way. I'm going to talk about weight now. I felt that it was necessary to keep weight is a very serious concern. These vans can only hold so much weight, right? You can get like a ride improvement package from various companies. I think I'm about to start working with Van Compass, which has a ride improvement package. They have Fox shocks, I believe. Fox, like the animal. And then there's also Sumo springs that are out there. It gives your van ride, a smoother ride. You can also do lifts if you wanted to. Once you put all this weight back here, a lot of vans, not all, but a lot of vans will sag a little bit. Weight distribution. So not just the amount of weight that you have, but how you distribute the weight through the entire van. For example, you want to make sure that both sides of the van are equal. So for me, I like to put electrical on one side and water on the other. Not only do I like doing that for weight, but I also like doing that because I like to keep electrically wires away from water, just in case, God forbid, knock on wood, my water tank decides to leak. If it's far enough away, it won't go into all of my electric components and start out a short or whatever it may be, because that's not going to be pretty. What if you puncture your tank one day and you have 22 gallons draining into your van somewhere? That's playing a what if game, but you want to obviously play safe than sorry. Your electrical, there are going to be massive amounts of opinions whether you want to put it into a box or you want to have that breathe. For me, I feel that it's okay being in a box as long as it's ventilated. For example, mine's in a box, but there's like a whole bunch of vents in there to like let the hot air out. And by the way, lithium batteries should actually stay warm. So my batteries are actually on the floor, but I have a heated floor, so it's totally okay. If you don't have a heated floor, because the floors get so cold, and even 30, 40 degree weather, they do get cold, I would suggest actually lifting the batteries up just like above the wheel well area. So those were some of the main products that I feel you have to design around. Your bed is a major one that you need to design around. Fridge obviously needs to be designed around. A seating area, you kind of want to design around. Toilet, if you're gonna have it, if you want it, which 95% of van lifers have, you're gonna want to design around that. Those things are not small. These things you can find the dimensions to everything I'm talking about right now. Water tank is something big that you need to design around and how you want to lay it out. And then your electrical equipment. You can find footprints of batteries. You can find how big inverters are, etc. and so forth. If you are going to have it professionally built by like somebody that does solar kits, which I highly recommend. All right, guys, we're doing a little quick cut into the video right now because I am at my friend's shop and I'm walking over to my buddy Jason right now. He owns Off Grid Solutions PDX. After hours right now, they're actually working, I believe, on his girlfriend's van, and I was kind of just walked over there and I was like, hey guys, what you're doing right now is perfect for what I'm trying to talk about in this video right now. Let's go walk inside Jason's shop and show you what they're doing. This is perfect. All right, so we're just gonna kind of listen in and watch them kind of do their thing right now. But you guys haven't met Jason's girlfriend here, Marissa. Marissa is the beautiful owner of this van right here. And that's Jason. He's been on my channel before, Off Grid Solutions PDX. I'm gonna flip this around so you guys can get them on. But anyways, guys, what are you guys doing right now? Because this is pretty frigging, oh, I almost fell off.
Just laying some things out, trying to figure out where everything's gonna be before we start building some things. Kind of seeing how much space we have left over and,
and
get a feel for it.
Jay, you just laid in the Van Life Tech radiant floor heating.
She's getting the heated floor.
Yeah, you are an affiliate upfitter, so you are technically allowed to do this, so that's pretty awesome.
Yeah, we love these things. It's a total game changer for the van life community for sure.
And that actually is part of your layout because you need to make sure all the mechanicals are going to fit in here.
The mechanicals and just making sure we know where we're putting our screws and stuff, you know what I mean? All that's pretty important in our layout, just knowing we're literally where everything's going to go before we try to guess that it's going to fit, because it seems like everything, once you actually put things in the van versus the math that you cut on paper, changes a little bit. So
awesome. And then so you guys have been in here probably like an hour now, kind of working all this out, and you guys started to put down this blue tape, right? And that was like, and like even I walked in and you guys were like making decisions on the fly. I freaking love it so much.
So this is her base layout, so from here she can kind of think and make sure that this is exactly where she wants everything to go, and it's a good time to move things around and see, like what we're doing right now is she wants so the bed's gonna be here, we know that, and we're gonna recess into the wall so she can sleep this way. So we're trying to figure out how much bench seat is acceptable, like 18 inches. So where you were at there on
that's
that
20,
to 20, right?
A butt fit's pretty good.
A butt fit's good on 20.
There you go.
So, there you go.
So that's what we're trying to figure out, right?
It's important, right?
We
What if
want
your
to know,
budget
right?
fit?
Yeah, so
Oh, it's a little more.
that's more than 20. So 20-inch was.
Oh, I was
more
measuring
than
from
that.
the back of the fridge. That's what I was doing.
What we're just trying to figure out is like what 20 inches on that, whether you want 20 inches there, 20 inches there.
They are
we
like
don't know.
really working. It's funny.
We don't know if there's going to be a cabinet here, if the bench is going to be here. She's got some things to decide, you
Well, it's
know?
also like it's gonna be out to here.
How many like, Marissa? How many like iterations of your like design and layout have you gone through in your head?
In my head, a lot in my head, like tons, way too many.
Yeah. And by the way, you have an extremely rare van. I didn't even say that at the top there. Oh my God.
Special.
Yeah,
This is a dual sliding T1N.
It's in 100,000 miles. I don't know how she found it, but she did a good job.
That is ridiculous. 2004?
2004.
This is a gem of a vehicle. Not only do you have a dual slider, but you're going to be like utilizing it, which is even cooler.
Yeah. Still trying to figure out exactly how, but definitely want to be able to access both doors.
Unbelievable. I'm super excited. Guys, I am going to do a tour of her van when it's done. What are we thinking, like 8, 12 weeks?
Probably like 4 weeks. Yeah.
4
4
weeks?
weeks. Yeah, about 4 weeks.
Yeah. 4
Or a lot
weeks
longer.
is not happening, I can promise you that.
He knows better than that. He's been here before.
No way is 4 weeks happening.
Probably more.
When I left, it was kind of the way that it is now, and that was 4 months ago. But you had a lot going on, so.
No, we've got a lot to the top
Yeah.
too. We've got the thing rhino lined. We've got all the solar.
Yeah, I got a
completely
new
changed
solar
up top.
panel.
So she
Oh,
went
wow.
with the commercial grade panel
I
up there.
sold my battery.
Oh, that's right. You had a whole
already
power
got
system.
Yeah.
We pulled her whole power system out and sold it, and she got rid
Redid
of
the
her energy
floor.
panels and got rid of the AGM batteries and got her lithium and got her big commercial panel and.
Okay, so
We've been doing
and so you've
stuff.
changed stuff. Like you've changed
yeah.
stuff, and you were
He's helped
here
me
to
change
like
stuff.
help it, I guess.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. I didn't even realize that. Oh my God, I forgot you like had a whole system.
Yeah, it was all like right there.
We've literally changed everything.
And
We're
then I
gonna
had
leave
the
this.
2 Renogy panels on that roof rack.
And then
we
you
sold
changed
the whole
those out.
roof rack.
Oh
Yeah.
boy.
Sold the roof
Got
rack
that
and
industrial
low mounted the
panel.
panel. You know, got a good
Looks
proper
good.
commercial
Can
panel.
I
you
see the
gotta-
panel? I don't even. Oh, you have the rhino lined up here. I can feel it.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm gonna stick the camera up there and see if I
Yeah,
can
go
see
for
it. Oh. Whoa. Where'd you get the panel from?
From me.
From you. Off Grid Solutions PDX.com.
That's right.
Obviously, you see, like, they have their fridge that they have mapped out. I've already talked about this in the video, Jay, on how, like, we design around the things that we want. Whether it's the fridge and the water tank, the bed right here. You know, you have a seating area over there. You're talking about, you know, where your tables are going to go, where your galley's going to go. You were talking about having a floor-to-ceiling thingamajiggy here. Upper cabin. It's the whole 9, dude.
Just trying to figure it out, yeah. I mean,
Did I stress you out?
No,
It's a lot of
it's
things,
van
but
building
it's
though.
good.
Like that's
Yeah.
something that you have to consider every step of the way, no matter what van you're building. Like it's just part of the deal. There's a lot of little intricacies that go into these vans, and I think anyone who gets into it starts realizing real quick that it's a pretty involved project, you know.
Yep. I will end this portion of the video here by saying, how many times will this change throughout the building course?
We'll
Or how many? What do you think?
Yeah,
Like
I
you've
think
done
we're
Vince.
zoning into
So
it,
he
is what it feels
like
like.
along the way, she's already come up with what she had in mind as kind of
Yep.
where she wanted to be, and we're pretty close to that.
Okay.
So by keeping close to that, I think only things are going to change maybe by a couple inches here and there, but she knows kind of what she wants and,
Yep.
and what she needs to haul and
How-
whatnot. So as long as we got a good spot for her skis and a bunch of climbing gear, I think she'll be pretty.
And that's pretty much going to be all underneath the
All
bed.
underneath the bed,
Yeah,
Lots of room
because
there for it.
lots of room here, and that's pretty much why you went. One of the reasons why you went with a platform bed.
Yeah.
I talked about that a little
Need
bit.
that garage space for sure.
Yeah, because you're a climber, you're an adventurer,
Yeah, I
you're.
got lots of gear.
You have a
so
lot of
she
gear.
did a really good job by doing this. We're gonna run it this way, and being able to sleep this way makes it so we only have to come 48 inches into the van to make
Oh.
a full size bed.
Right,
So like yours too, the same thing. Kind
Right.
of getting it closer to the back, so we have more room in the smaller wheelbase vans for other activities.
I can still fit all my
And
gear.
a lot of people ask like why the radiant floor heat in the rear of the the back portion of the van.
Right.
Well, guess what? All of her gear now is going to be heated.
And that water tank and her
That's
batteries
true.
and everything else.
Everything.
Might as well. Like,
You have to.
lithium likes heat, so
Lithium loves heat.
you might as well get them warm, get them
Well,
doing
that
their
would be good
thing.
because like all the gear you're not supposed to like leave out.
Yeah,
right?
like some of your stuff you
They
don't want
say
freezing.
even like ropes not to leave in the garage and stuff.
There it is.
so.
I'm already jealous of your van. It's not even built. What the heck?
That's what van life is. I feel like.
I know. So
Oh,
you
very
see somebody
much.
else, she's like, oh, come on.
Yeah.
That's a great idea.
And guys, the reason it seems dark in here right now is because we don't have any electrical hooked up. She has the lights. They're all run. It's fine. I can promise you it's nice and bright
We
here.
had it, but like I said, we tore her whole power system out and got rid of the AGMs like everyone should do.
I got some
You're only. It's funny because what was in here before? You had 2 AGMs.
One
Just one.
200 amp hour,
Yeah.
160 pound
Yeah.
And now you're
Less.
going a little more money, but
More
it's
money.
2 batteries.
2 batteries with 210 amp hours, and both of her batteries have a 5-year warranty. So if she leaves the light on, it doesn't matter. It's just going to shut off, and she's not going to have to replace the battery.
Yeah, that's
How much
amazing.
does it weigh?
Oh yeah, the batteries themselves weigh 20 pounds. So we
40
saved her
40 pounds total.
120
Save me 100
pounds of battery.
Your entire electrical system, inverter, batteries, everything is going to weigh less than what that one battery did before.
Yeah, absolutely.
Isn't that weird?
Yeah,
And
it's
it's gonna
awesome.
run way
And
longer.
it's
gonna be
still double
better.
the capacity.
Yes.
So yeah, it's awesome.
That's great.
That's awesome. All right, guys, we're gonna end this now. Well, we're gonna go back to the remainder of the video, but I just needed to. It was just luck that I was like, hey, Jake and Marissa, can I please?
Good
Video
timing.
this.
Yeah, you just
Yeah.
walked in on
I walked in as they
We're
after
closed
hours.
right now. We're
Yes.
closed.
He's actually not. He's off the clock right now. He's doing this
We're
as
just trying to
a
plan
favor
our
to his
van.
girlfriend.
Jared's just in the way.
I am in the way. All right, guys, I'm going. I'm leaving.
Before I end the video, I also want to talk about the roof layout. The roof layout is very essential when it comes to also designing the inside of your van. If you have 2 or 3 or 4 panels and you have 2 roof vents, then you need to put the 2 roof vents and you need to figure out where those panels are going to be. Before you order your panels, you can look up dimensions of solar panels, right? So you can actually figure out what you need in reference on your roof. Do you want 1 fan or 2 fans? Do you want a skylight? Do you going to have an air conditioner unit? These are all things that you have to ask yourself before. And that's kind of going back to making a list and checking it twice and all that stuff. So your roof layout is very important also moving forward. So do not neglect your roof layout. I've seen people order, 4 panels, 2 roof vents, a skylight, and I'm like, how are you going to fit all that in a 144 Sprinter? It just ain't going to happen. Unless you stack the solar panels and have them come out like an awning. We're going to try and end the video because I've been talking for way too long here. This is the part of the process that is, me, it's the most fun. I love doing this part of the project. However, the actual designing of it is very tedious. It takes a long time. You need to do a lot of research. You need to do a lot of Amazon shopping. You need to do a lot of looking up products online. There's however many different composting toilets there are. There's porta potty toilets. There's squatter potties. There's so many different, even just toilets. And then you want to get into materials, but the materials more towards when you get into the actual building of it. You can decide on materials when you get the van, you have your layout. For me, I feel like materials kind of goes during the building process. Picking out finishes and things like that, that can wait. Right now, you want the layout. You want shapes. You want rectangular box here for a countertop, smaller rectangular box here for a toilet, other rectangular box here for a water tank, long skinny rectangular box for a bed. That's what I'm talking about. The free version of SketchUp, you're totally okay with getting away with that. Yeah, definitely. I designed my first 2 vans using the free version of SketchUp. And again, I'm not sponsored by SketchUp whatsoever, although SketchUp, you should sponsor me too. Guys, I would like to do a follow-up with an expert on everything I talk about. So eventually I plan on doing videos with experts in this field. I feel that I'm an expert, but I also like getting a second opinion. So eventually I'm going to start doing videos with people that are professional van builders that have extreme amounts of knowledge in these type of situations. Like I said, I feel like I'm a professional here, but I'm going to have professionals talk about actual products and breaking it all down all in one video. So that'll be coming up in the near future. Comment below if you have any questions or concerns, or if you want to get a hold of me, you can email me. Go to my website, jarrodtocci.com. You can email me at info@jarrodtocci.com. And maybe you want a hat with an orange logo on it, or I also have some really cool t-shirts coming out really soon. So guys, thank you for tuning into this. I have no idea how this freaking turned out. This was actually my 3rd take on doing this because it's just way too much information to get out there to you guys. I'm so sorry. Alright guys, also check out my other YouTube channel, which is Who's This Effing Guy. That's going to be all comedy based, like I talked about. If you've watched me before, I am a stand-up comedian. I'm getting back into that in the year 2020. Yes, I'm so excited. Alright guys, we'll see you guys next time. Later!